Today I wanted to share a full day of eating whilst I'm trying to maintain as much muscle and lose some body fat. You can eat high protein and still eat so many yummy, tasty, flavourful recipes, and also wanted to share some food habits that just help me day to day whenever I have got a certain fitness goal, if I'm trying to lose fat or gain muscle. I trained legs this morning and it was torturous. It was one of those workouts that was so painful but so good at the same time. I feel really good afterwards. So for breakfast I'm thinking brownie batter baked oats in the oven. I've got a little bit of time this morning, so this is just one of my favourite things to make. Start by preheating your oven to about 180 degrees. What you're going to need is some milk, any milk, some oats, I'm using the rolled oats, 1 egg, low-fat yogurt, some baking powder, some chocolate whey protein, and then I'm also using some chocolate powder, some sugar-free maple syrup, 40 grams of oats. Find this the easiest way to track ingredients, literally just put the actual thing, like the yogurt or whatever, on the scales, and then I can just do it that way rather than the other way around. 40 grams of yogurt. I always think yogurt makes it that cakey texture. 1 egg. A tablespoon of maple syrup, or honey, just whatever, like sweetener. Or you could add banana. A teaspoon of hot chocolate powder, baking powder. This is what obviously makes it rise. 100 ml of milk, and then 25 grams of protein, and just blend that all together. Oh, that smells so nice. Pour in the mixture. So 10 grams of Biscoff. This kind of in the middle for between 15 and 20 minutes. It doesn't actually take that long. So a bit of a random one, but I just wanted to put you on this little coffee hack. If you've got an espresso Virtue machine and you found that the pods that you've been buying just, I don't know, like I couldn't find a flavour that I actually liked of the Nespresso Virtue, and because it's relatively new, for some reason a lot of supermarkets here don't seem to have many of the flavours. Like the normal Nespresso machine, you can get an abundance of different flavours. So long story short, I was like, right, take the matter into my own hands, because I love the actual machine and how creamy it comes out. So I just tried this really standard quality Rossa, I think it's called, Lavazza, which is my favourite at the minute. I accidentally bought the actual coffee beans. I was like, oh God, like, I'm not gonna be able to put them in a capsule. So I just popped them in the blender into a fine ground coffee. Got these reusable like cap covers that go on top off Amazon, and I feel like it's the best hack ever. Not only is it a bit more environmentally friendly because you're not reusing loads of these, but it works out way cheaper, and obviously you can try out different flavours. And not to go off on a tangent, but I just didn't want to commit. I didn't feel like I was quite ready to commit to like a big daddy, you know, like coffee machine setup that takes up half your kitchen top. So I still wanted to keep the Nespresso vibes going. I also try and stick to like 2 coffees a day. It was getting ridiculous at one point. I was having like 3 coffees, and then my anxiety was, and I just didn't feel that good. Bringing my caffeine back down has made the biggest difference. I'll have 1 in the morning before I go to the gym as my pre-workout, and then just 1 like throughout the day if I fancy. Look at these little oven gloves. Like, what are these things? They're like little socks. This is ready to come out, so it took 25 minutes. I'm very particular with baked oats. Da, da, da. And then whilst that's hot, I'm just going to break up 2 or 3 grams of this little chocolate. And then I'm just going to wait for that to cool down. You could pop it into like another bowl as well if you prefer. Oh, that cakey. I think I put way too much milk in this coffee, to be honest. It's more like a latte, but still nice. Literal just cake for breakfast every day. Gonna do a bit of journaling as well this morning. It's been on my list. I've been slacking like this past few days, to be honest. My hair is probably very questionable right now. I've just flung it up. I feel like when I'm working, I just need my hair off the back of my head. I've just been listening to the Wakanda playlist. I went to watch the new Marvel film, the new Black Panther last night. It was so good. Must have been at least like 2 or maybe 3 hours long, and I don't really get hooked by many films, but I'd really recommend if you haven't been to see it. The playlist is so good. It's Rihanna's released new songs. Lift me up. Burna Boy has some new songs as well, actually, and They do this thing in the film. Oh, I'm so weird sometimes. But anyway, just doing some work at the moment, and I don't actually feel that hungry, to be honest. Baked oats is actually such high volume and the tastiest thing ever. You're missing out if you've not yet tried baked oats. All these recipes as well will be in my app Live and Lift, where I've got lots of lovely healthy recipes that you can check out, and all the macros and instructions are on the actual app, as well as a lot of my recipes. So it's just in one archive. If you like, if you want to go back to a certain recipe, like a meal prep video of mine, it's all in the app. So I'm just gonna make some lunch. I'm thinking a tuna crunchy wrap is what I'm craving right now. This is super salpa. Why does this happen? It's only when I'm filming. I feel like some words just come out of my mouth so crazily. But I'm gonna make a tuna crunchy wrap, high protein, less than 5 minutes to make. All you're gonna need is some tuna chunks. I'm using a little bit of yogurt just to make it a bit creamier, incredibly light mayonnaise, some sriracha, some lower calorie tortilla wraps, some chili flakes with garlic in, and pepper, and then some celery, a red onion, a cucumber, and then a little bit of lettuce. And then I've just found a little random bit of coriander that is on its way out, so I just thought I'll use a little bit of this. I'm just gonna drain out the tuna, this to my bowl, 20 grams of light mayo, and pepper, salt, and some chili flakes or whatever seasonings are your fave. 5 grams of sriracha, this into the little boat. And then we fold in that way, this way, and then I'm just going to pop that here, and then crisp our tuna thing, and just press her down a little bit. Oh, so nice. Be nice as well with a bit of cheese. I'm just about to reach for my phone, but my hands are covered in tuna. Would not be a good idea. All my favourite things, like sweet, salty, crispy, crunchy. These are just too good. I just made myself a peppermint tea. Absolutely love this, and so good for your digestion. And I really like warm drinks. I feel like they just make me feel cozy. So I just wanted to share some eating habits that have just helped me transform my nutrition and how I look at my meals. The first one is having a consistent routine when it comes to sort of when I eat. You really don't need to stick to like times, breakfast, lunch and dinner. If you're doing like a hardcore training session in the morning and you're hungry, like make sure you listen to your eating cues. If you're training a lot, you're super active, and you know you'll be having like more than 3 meals a day or snacks or whatever. So that is the first thing I wanted to just talk about, because I think there's such a stigma, you know, if you're having more meals than that, or if you're eating at a time, like a random time in the day, then it isn't right. What is really good about having a bit of a routine of when you eat is just that you can actually build some momentum with your nutrition, so you're not accidentally, say, skipping meals because your eating schedule is like all over the shop, or say if you're eating like a really late lunch and then you're kind of not really that hungry for your dinner, or you'll just have like something snacky, and then it makes it really difficult to hit, say, your macro goals or your protein intake. Also helps with my digestion, and I'm just like clockwork. The next thing is making sure to have protein with each meal as much as possible. Obviously there'll be some meals which won't have much protein in. For example, I had some rice cakes and they aren't the highest in protein. Aiming for as much protein with each meal, and that way you're going to feel a lot more fuller for longer and satisfied satisfied. The next one is always having a really well-stocked fridge. There is nothing worse, in my opinion, than when you're starving, you're going to your fridge and it's empty, or like you haven't got anything grabbable. Like, I love little oranges and apples, and just always making sure I've got those stocked in the fridge. So I will have like a routine food shop order, or I'll food shop at the same time. Like, I don't like food shopping hungry. It is the absolute like most painful thing. Then cooking as much as possible at home, aiming for about like 80 to 90% of your meals at home is such a game changer, and you can really get really creative with your meals. I think it's so therapeutic as well, like making your recipes. Like when we first moved here, I actually stopped cooking a lot at home. Like for some reason I hadn't even connected the gas when we moved here because I didn't know whether I wanted to stay, and then I wasn't cooking as much, and I actually realised how much I love cooking, as you can probably tell from my YouTube channel and my Instagram. Something else that's really helped me transform my eating habits is reducing my alcohol intake and caffeine intake. I've never really been a big drinker, to be honest, but it really knocks my sleep schedule out the window and my hunger. I feel like if I'm drinking or whatever, I don't eat as much as what I'd like. It throws off my whole balance, and I found with caffeine and having over 3 coffees a day that you just end up super jittery, anxious, and you can't really think straight. So I'd really recommend having a look at that if that's something you're struggling with. I hope they're really helpful tips and that you can implement or try out some of those. So I'm just going to make some dinner, and I'm going to make a shrimp prawn kind of bowl. I've just peeled them. I used to feel a bit uncomfortable peeling them. I don't know why. For this recipe, I'm going to use some olive oil, 1 cup of basmati rice. I've got some prawns here, deshelled, paprika, coriander, some honey, garlic, and then a green pepper. It'd be better if you had a red pepper. There was none in stock. Avocado, and then some green beans, 5 grams of honey, paprika, so 2 teaspoons, teaspoon of coriander powder, a clove of garlic, and then just set that aside to marinate for a sec. I try and wash up as much as I can just as I go, so it's easier. And then I'm just going to take my bell pepper. I love this because it's just so fresh, nice and high protein. Then I'm just taking some olive oil in a pan. Fry this off until these go soft, and then this that is nearly cooked now. Just set these aside. The prawns in. I think Mace is on his way back, so I'll just make us both a bowl. I haven't done it today, but desiccated coconut is so nice in rice, like a coconutty rice, if that's your kind of thing as well. Cooked some chicken as well in the air fryer because I quickly realised this is not enough for 2 people. I didn't get enough prawns, and they always shrink, I find. And then what I like with these kind of bowls is you can just add whatever veggies you've got in. And then avocado. My bowl, so I've done 1.5 chicken breasts here. I've got my prawn, chopped bell pepper, basmati rice, avocado, and then sliced up cucumber and red onion and carrot. And then I've done Mason's bowl here, 2 chicken breasts and the same amount of prawns. Can't wait to eat this. I could do some sesame seeds or something to go on top. Wrap this video up here. I hope you have liked some of these recipes. Let me know if you give any of them a try. I have loads of my recipes on my app Live and Lift, which you can check out and get a free 7-day trial. You know what you'd like to see in the next videos, and I'll see you in the next one.